Hello everyone and welcome to KWT's Microsoft Outlook APIs module. This is not intended to be an in-depth module about using APIs nor about creating APIs. I just want to give you an overview of what an API is and how you might use them within Outlook, some ideas about what is available out there. So an API is an application programming interface. These are small programs that allow two different applications to communicate with each other. It's a standardized method of allowing programs to talk back and forth. So a request can be sent from application 1 to application 2. Application 2 processes that request and sends a response back to application 1 via the API. So these not only standardize that interface that makes that ability for two completely separate applications to talk to one another, but it also adds a layer of security because only very limited information is sent from system 1 to system 2 and back. So you don't have to open up your entire data set to the other system. You only send through the bits of information that you need for system 2 to respond to your request for data. So it is that extra layer of security. Modern APIs are more standardized now than they have ever been in the past. And they are now managed as full-blown applications. So they go through the full lifecycle development, full-blown testing, versioning, everything that you would do with a standard program would also be done with an API. And one simple example is that this website Expedia uses an API to reach out to specific airline sites to get their flight information to fulfill your search request. So Expedia only needs to send the portions of your search request that are required, and the airlines only need to send back just the information that Expedia is requesting. So these APIs allow those two completely separate sites to talk back and forth. Within Microsoft provides Graph, which contains all the APIs that you would need to interact with Microsoft products. And they're very comprehensive. You can see that it includes calendar, files, chats, anything that you deal with within your Microsoft applications can be accessed via an API, either between the two applications within Microsoft or from the Microsoft applications out to third-party applications. And it's just a sample listing there of some of the contents that you will find within Microsoft Graph. If you want to use these APIs, or any API for that matter, you'll want to make sure that you look up the documentation for the API, and that will give you all the details that you need on how to implement and use the API within your environment. Just a note that the standardization for Microsoft Graph is REST, which is representational state transfer. So that's just a format of standardization that Microsoft uses so that if anybody else is building APIs to join the mix, you want to make sure you're using the same standardization method. So a couple of examples of Outlook API usage that might make your day-to-day work better. You may want to have an API that grabs profile information from your contacts or from a third-party application based on a meeting request so that you can be as up-to-date as possible about the attendees for that meeting. So it helps you prepare. Scanning your calendar and suggesting best times for your next meetings. So that's just working within Microsoft Outlook and within Exchange or Outlook 365. Maybe fetching the latest sales projection chart from an Excel file on your OneDrive and lets you update the forecast in real time. And APIs can work in many environments, web, on-site, on mobility applications. So the standardization piece of APIs makes sure that they are able to run across platforms. So there's a couple more examples. The idea being is that APIs make for easy and simple interfacing between applications. And those can be applications within a suite, such as Microsoft Office, or it could be completely separate applications like Microsoft Outlook and another third-party application. APIs are ubiquitous. They are everywhere, and I guarantee you, you have done something on the web that has used an API, although they are very much in the background, where they send requests, the requests get processed, and the response comes back. But it is all built into the user experience of applications and websites that you use. That completes this module.